Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm sharing with you a decadent recipe for a Coca-Cola chocolate cake. This is a recipe that my grandmother used to make for us for special occasions, like that first weekend at our lake house during the summer, or for birthday celebrations. This recipe has a lot of memories attached to it, so I'm excited to share it with you today. Let me walk you through the ingredients. You're going to need flour, unsweetened cocoa powder, granulated sugar, salt, baking soda, 2 eggs, vanilla, unsalted butter, buttermilk, vegetable oil, and Coca-Cola. And then you'll also need something to grease your cake pan with. So to get started, in a medium saucepan, you're going to take your stick of unsalted butter and you're going to put that over medium heat, and we're just going to start to melt this. We also want to go ahead and preheat our oven to 350 degrees, and then we can start putting our ingredients together. So in a large bowl, you're going to start mixing your dry ingredients. So in here, I am mixing flour, salt, baking soda, and granulated sugar. And then you just want to give this a quick whisk and make sure that you get any lumps out of your flour and make sure this is incorporated really well. Now you can set your dry ingredients to the side, and we're going to mix our buttermilk and our eggs together. You can do this in a separate bowl. I was trying to save on a dish or two, so I just mixed my eggs with my buttermilk in my measuring cup. I also added my vanilla and then just whisked this to combine them. At this point, the butter was melted, so I added in my unsweetened cocoa powder, and this gives this cake such a decadent, smooth chocolate flavor. You want to whisk the butter and the cocoa powder together really well so that they combine and kind of melt together. Then you can add your vegetable or canola oil, and you just want to whisk until this is one delicious mixture. Last, you want to add your bubbly Coca-Cola and give it one last whisk, and then you can take this off the heat and you want to let it cool for at least 5 minutes before you add it to the rest of your ingredients. I like to use a 9x13 glass casserole dish for my cake pan, and I just grease it really well. And then now it's time to combine everything. I pour the buttermilk, eggs, and vanilla into my flour mixture, and then you slowly want to add your chocolate mixture. The chocolate mixture has sat for a few minutes, but it is still really warm, so you just want to be careful to add a little bit at a time so that you don't scramble your eggs. So I like to pour a little bit, give it a good whisk, add a little bit more, give it a whisk, and the heat from the chocolate will warm up the eggs, and then everything will combine beautifully. Here's a quick tip. If you didn't notice, my bowl was sliding all over the place, so I just popped a damp paper towel underneath and it stayed put. So after you've made a couple additions of your chocolate mixture, you can start to add more with each addition. So I poured a little bit more, mixed it, and at this point you just want everything to combine. I'm using a bowl and a whisk to mix my batter together, but you can definitely use a hand mixer or you can use a KitchenAid mixer. Those both work great as well. This batter does take a little effort to mix it together, but once it starts to combine, it turns into this smooth, luxurious batter, and it smells amazing. Once everything is combined, you're going to start to see little bubbles come up from the baking soda and the Coca-Cola. It's kind of a fun batter, and at this point all you have to do is pour it into your prepared pan. So this does make a really large cake, and like I said, this is a very decadent recipe. This is something that we make probably once a year. It has some great memories, also has a lot of sugar and a lot of butter. I like to use a scraper just to get all that batter out of the bowl, and then I'm just going to pop this into a 350-degree oven for 28 to 30 minutes. Test it with a toothpick or a cake tester, just make sure that comes out clean, and then it's time to move on to the frosting. For the frosting, you need powdered sugar, cocoa powder, more butter, vanilla, Coca-Cola, and then an optional ingredient is pecans or pecans, however you want to say it. So this part is really similar to the chocolate mixture of the batter. So we're gonna melt a stick of butter in a medium saucepan over medium heat. Once that has melted, we're going to give that a quick whisk just to break up any bits that were not entirely melted. We're going to add in our cocoa powder, give that a good whisk. And then we're going to add in our Coca-Cola. And then we're going to bring this just to a boil. As soon as this starts to boil, you want to take it off the heat. At this point, I like to give this mixture a really good whisk, and then I add in my vanilla, give that a good whisk, and then it is time to combine this with the powdered sugar. So I'm just going to pour this over my powdered sugar and just whisk to combine. This is a delicious frosting. It's glossy, it's smooth, it is super sweet, and it sinks into the cake if you add it on like I'm gonna show you, because the cake's warm and the frosting is warm. This is what the consistency of your frosting will look like, and it is on the looser side because it's going to set up. So don't be nervous if it's not like a typical frosting. So you're going to take your warm cake and you're just going to pour this luxurious frosting all over the top of it. This cake is perfect for a big crowd, or it's perfect for smaller crowds. One of the things about this cake that is so great is that it freezes beautifully. So if you want to make this and cut it into multiple different servings, you could pop these in the freezer. Just make sure you put it in a well-sealed Ziploc bag or a glass container, and you could take this out and have yourself a sweet treat anytime. And here comes the optional part. So when my grandmother made this, the traditional way was with chopped pecans, or sometimes she even added walnuts. My kiddos are not huge fans of pecans, so I only added a few for me and my husband on the side. So if you want to, you can add it all over the cake. You can omit these altogether. It's totally up to you. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video with this chocolate Coca-Cola cake. Like I said, this one is full of memories for me from my childhood. If you guys enjoyed this, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel. I would love to have you join me here, and hopefully we will see you in our next video.